Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to Sunday's edition of the dceu Daily. Confession and disclaimer, I'm recording this on a Friday. So at this moment in time, my internet isn't really good. I cannot upload videos during the day while my father's watching smart TV in the kitchen. Our internet's so shit. So what I'm doing, I'm uploading these videos in the evening. So I apologise if I'm not up to date with current DC events. We will get there. Ultimately, my goal is to get a better package, a better internet connection, a better package. But it's really difficult out here in Cyprus, but we will prevail. Anyway, let's get on with today's show. There is a very real and genuine civil war going on between Warner Media and Warner Brothers Pictures. And the thing they're wrestling for, their arm wrestling for right now, is the DC live action universe. The DC Extended Universe, the DCEU. That's the prize, because potentially these DC characters, these DC live-action movies and their future can be the biggest in the industry. And everybody at Warner Brothers and Warner Media knows this. So there's a big arm wrestle. You've got Zack Snyder and Ray Fisher on one side. Zack Snyder wants to wrestle control of the DC Extended Universe. This is a universe he started with 2013's Man of Steel. So basically, Ray Fisher is doing his bidding. Now, out of nowhere in the past few months, the war of words, well, there hasn't really been a war of words publicly because Walter Hamada hasn't come out and said anything, but Ray Fisher has really gone for Walter Hamada. And Ray's been speaking again, and I'm going to read you his thread. This is actually an episode of the DCEU Daily about threads. But Jim Lee, the big boss over at DC, has had something to say about Walter Hamada's contract extension. Congrats to DC Films Press Walter Hamada on his renewal. Love working with Walt. He's smart, principled, and fair. Moreover, he possesses great creative instinct and is a terrific partner and collaborator. I'm excited to continue working with him and his team for years to come. At the end of the day, what unites all of us is that we just want awesome movies, and we are all just focused on that common objective, and of course have an amazing time doing so. Between the upcoming Suicide Squad, Batman, Flash, and Black Adam movies, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, I know as DC's creative lead that we have some really thrilling and exciting stories we can't wait to share with you all. We truly have something for everyone, and I look forward to your ever-passionate feedback as we bring to life the projects you guys so embraced during DC Fandom. So thank you all for your support and continued faith as we roll out our creative vision for the DC Universe. Now, look, Jim Lee talks about artwork, talks about the comics publicly, but he doesn't normally do things like this. Ray Fisher has got everybody nervous. There's no question about it, because Ray Fisher and Zack Snyder, and I might be speaking out of turn here, and I apologise, are trying to wrestle control of DC live action from Warner Brothers Pictures, and that's where the control is right now. Zack Snyder had control of the whole thing, and they drove him out, and he wants back in. So anything you hear him say is all about that. It's all tactical. This is a war of words. This is a civil war. And this thread right here isn't really about congratulating Walter Hamada. It's about spin. It's about saying, hey, this is Jim Lee. You all love me. I really fought for you so you could get the Snyder Cut. So you're not going to attack me. I'm going to basically say that, you know, Walter Hamada is a great guy. He's got morals. He's got a great vision. We're all working together for you. Please support us. This is what this is. So very shortly, I'm going to read the thread from Ray Fisher, which is very important, because after that thread, I'm going to explain to you why he didn't come after Jim Lee. Now, the other day, I read an article to you guys from the Wrap saying that Ray Fisher's Cyborg was written out of Flashpoint. And basically, there will be no recasting, that he was written out because Ray publicly resigned from the role on Twitter. Ray is not too happy about that. I strongly suggest that the Wrap amend this article immediately. While I appreciate the reporter's undying desire to do Warner Brothers Pictures and Walter Hamada's bidding, it is factually inaccurate. I did not publicly step down from anything. Although, Ray, you did say you'd never work on any project with Walter Hamada's name on it. So what does that mean? Well, I explained to you the other day, anything Zack does with DC, Ray will be there. Anything from Warner Brothers Pictures, Ray will no longer be involved with. This is a problem, of course, because we all want to see him as Cyborg in Flashpoint. He goes on. If Warner Brothers Pictures has made the decision to remove me from The Flash rather than address in any way Walter Hamada tampering with the Justice League investigation, that's on them. That's a big accusation, Ray. He's accusing Walter Hamada now of tampering with this investigation. The idea of removing the role rather than recasting it is only being used to try to avoid public backlash. This is very true. This is why I said to you that Grace Randolph is kind of a YouTube spy for the studio. She put out a recast because they told her to gauge a reaction, what would happen. Next day, they say he's been written out. That's no accident. She is a Warner Brothers stooge who puts stuff out there. She knows things, but she's never telling you what she actually knows. She's telling you things to gauge your reactions for Warner Brothers. The Warner Brothers Pictures PR team has struggled to regain control of the narrative ever since they failed to bury me and the JL investigation with the September the 4th hit piece, which unsurprisingly was written by the same reporter. Yeah, he's talking about Humberto Gonzalez. Now, this is the very same Humberto Gonzalez who was telling us for months and months the Snyder Cut would never happen. He's a bit of a troll as well. So he's going for Humberto. The fact is, the Justice League investigation led to Warner Media and its affiliates parting ways with Joss Whedon. Jeff Johns will be following suit. Now, that's a big claim from Ray Fisher, which is going to be denied very shortly from a Variety article I'm about to read to you. Had Walter Hamada gotten his way, none of that would have been possible, and the cycle of abuse would have continued. My team and I are still in deep conversation with Warner Media regarding all these matters, and Flash or no Flash, we fully intend to see this through. I'll keep you all posted, but in the meantime, thank you for your continued support. Accountability over entertainment, of course. Wow. This guy's formidable, isn't he? I mean, he has become a petty annoyance to me and many people because we just want, as I said the other day, it's really hard being a DC fan these days with this power struggle, with this civil war. We just want to look forward to our movies, Ray, so it's difficult sometimes to keep the faith with you, but I understand absolutely what you're attempting to do, and I respect your tenacity. But in comes Variety with a denial. I tell you what, Warner Brothers Pictures have got to learn that these little hit pieces they're getting these journalists to do, this is Adam B. Very, by the way, just don't work. This is a terrible article that really doesn't really expose or deny anything Ray's just claimed. Let me read it to you so you can judge for yourselves. Jeff Johns still working with Warner Media despite Ray Fisher's claim writer is leaving studio. Exclusive. Just listen to this. Writer-producer Jeff Johns has multiple projects at Warner Media and remains working with the company, despite a claim from actor Ray Fisher that Johns will be parting ways with Warner Media following the company's investigation into Fisher's allegations of misconduct on Justice League. Multiple sources confirmed to Variety, according to Warner Media, more than 80 people were interviewed through the investigation. On Thursday, Fisher posted a Twitter thread disputing a report that Fisher publicly resigned from playing the role of Cyborg for DC Films after Fisher tweeted on December the 30th, "I will not participate in any production associated with current DC Films president Walter Hamada." 6 days later, Variety reported that Hamada re-upped his deal to run the DC unit through 2023. Now, through 2023, just after Flashpoint. So if that film bombs, they can get rid of him. That's why it's not a longer contract. It's literally a 2-year contract. It's not that big a deal, actually. I wouldn't surprise me if his deal already reached that long anyway, but they were just trying to show public confidence in Hamada. In the same thread, Fisher tweeted that the Justice League investigation led to Warner Media parting ways with Joss Whedon, who was the main focus of Fisher's Justice League allegations, and that Geoff Johns will be following suit. And they've got Ray's thread there, which we've already read. According to 3 sources familiar with Johns' work with Warner Media, the company remains in business with him. Johns continues to work as the creator and showrunner for the CW series Stargirl, part of executive producer Greg Berlanti's expansive suite of shows based on DC Comics properties, along with co-writing the recent feature film Wonder Woman 1984. John serves as an executive producer on several other based series, including Batwoman, Doom Patrol, Titans, and the upcoming CW series Superman and Lois. Fisher's claim about Johns is the latest in a string of allegations and assertions the actor has made in connection with Justice League. It started in July with Fisher's contention that director Joss Whedon engaged in gross, abusive and unprofessional and completely unacceptable behaviour on the set of the film, and that Johns and John Berg, who were producers on Justice League and running the DC Films unit at the time, enabled Whedon. To date, Fisher has never publicly offered specific details nor corroboration regarding these allegations. He actually has given us specific details on chats on Instagram and things like that he's done, by the way. He spoke about incidents where Geoff Johns told him to get in line or he would be replaced. He's told us about that. He hasn't got evidence of that, obviously, and if he has, he's presented it to the investigation. But he has tried to be specific, but he's also tried to protect the people who are giving information. So he's tried being specific, but when there's an investigation, you can't do that. It's a very difficult situation. This is definitely a hit piece. Upon concluding its investigation into Fisher's claims, Warner Media announced on December 11th that the remedial action has been taken, but the company has declined to provide further details as to what that action entailed. On Thursday, Fisher claimed that Whedon's announcement on November the 25th that he was exiting his HBO series The Nevers was part of that remedial action. At the time, Whedon said in a statement that he was leaving the series due to the physical challenges of making such a huge show during a global pandemic. We know that's bullshit, though. A spokesperson for Whedon declined to comment on Fisher's tweet. Warner Media reiterated on Thursday that remedial action has been taken, adding that the probe led by a former federal judge, was conducted by an outside law firm that interviewed more than 80 people. We have full confidence in its thoroughness and integrity, and remedial action has been taken, a Warner Media spokesperson said in a statement. The investigation has concluded and it is time to move on. Now, this is from Warner Media. Warner Media are moving on from this, right? Ray Fisher is not. But there is a civil war and a tug of war to do with DC live action between Warner Media and Warner Brothers Pictures, that's for sure. But mainly right now, publicly, visibly to the public, it's Walter Hamada v. Ray Fisher. But it goes much deeper than that. So why did Ray Fisher come out against Humberto Gonzalez, the rap article? Basically, Ray Fisher did state he'd never work on any project that Walter Hamada would produce. It is kind of a public resignation, Ray, but you're denying it because he really wanted to target Jim Lee, but he knows he can't. He can't target Jim because Jim's Mr. Nice Guy. Everyone loves Jim. And that's the thing. So he wouldn't have been very, very happy by Jim Lee's support of Walter Hamada, but he can't go. If he goes against Jim, that's it. Jim's the only one that's keeping Zack afloat right now. That's the truth. So they can't go for Jim, and they know that. Jim is the big honcho, the head honcho at dceu everything. And he's working very closely with Walter Hamada with this multiverse strategy and the future of DC live action. And so there is a tug of war. And what it is, it's like being at school. He said, she said, he said. And we as fans are being kind of swayed like a tennis ball being batted from one end to the other. And this is what I said in my previous video. It's tough to be a DC fan. you don't know which way to turn anymore, and it looks like there's never going to be a winner, and I think this tug of war will continue. And as I say, everything rests with Flashpoint. This is such an important movie to everyone now. If it succeeds, then Walter Hamada is there for the foreseeable future. He's a success. If it fails, it's game over for Walter. And then Zack maybe will be handed the reins, or maybe even somebody else. Or they may bring the curtain down on the DC Extended Universe, give it a space of 2 or 3 years and just start again with people who are actually pulling in the same direction. Because here's the thing with the DC Extended Universe. People have been pulling in opposite directions from the first day of shooting Man of Steel. You know, you had Zack Snyder shooting, you had Christopher Nolan protecting him, you had Jeff Johns advising them that this was the wrong way to go. And so Jeff Johns was never a supporter of Zack Snyder's vision. So they brought Chris Nolan in to harness this franchise, to work on it. He didn't want to do that, so he brought Zack in, which is a very controversial figure because he has a certain way of doing things, right? Now, I love Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. I have to say that every DCEU daily, or you get idiots attacking you. That's where I am. That's where I stand. I love his DC movies. But I am a DC fan. I am a DC man, and my loyalty is always to DC. So basically, the DC Extended Universe has always had people pulling in the opposite direction. So you do Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad. All of a sudden, they force him out. They kind of rejig Wonder Woman 2017, which is one of the best superhero films ever made. Then they make an absolute mess of Justice League after they force Zack out, right? So then you've got a problem. Then they do Aquaman. They make $1 billion. They rejig that movie. They get away with it. Shazam, they get away with it. Birds of Prey, well, the critics loved it publicly, but it had a mixed response, and it was a fun movie, but it was also underwhelming, and it had some toxic things to say about men. And then you had Wonder Woman 84, mixed reviews, started off really positive, again, mixed reactions from the fans. So again, you've got these, everyone's pulling in different directions. The fans, the Snyder fans, the hardcore DC fans, the creatives, everyone's pulling in different directions. And you just can't have a franchise that's this important and is about DC, these great DC characters. And everyone's at war to get their way how this franchise should be run. You just can't do it. Ultimately, I can only see one thing with this war going on. The whole franchise is just going to fucking implode. Then Warner Media will just have to kick everybody out, put in a person like Fake, someone who knows what they're doing, maybe Fake himself. Who knows by then what's happening? But listen, right now, we've got a string of movies to be excited about. They're going to make a bunch of money. Zack Snyder's Justice League is next. Can't wait for that. Jim's already mentioned that. He's a big supporter of Zack Snyder, by the way. But this tug of war will never, ever solve anything. No one is going to win this war. It is impossible. And the only elements that are going to get hurt here are the actual product and the people who love them. Me and you. This is why I did my video the other day, why it's hard to be a DC fan. It's tough to be a DC fan, because it is. And it goes on and on and on and on. And right now, we've got these films coming. Zack Snyder's Justice League, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, The Batman, Aquaman 2, Black Adam, all these films, right? Really exciting. All these films are happening. So, but what you've got to focus your lenses on, and as I've already said, it's all about Flashpoint. End of 2022. If it wins, the Civil War's over. The Civil War's over. If it flops and it's a horrible movie, the Civil War's also over. Basically, one way or another, after Flashpoint, it's over. Because either Walter Hamada's plan has worked, or it's failed, and then maybe Zack can come in, or whatever happens. But right now, there's going to be these films. Hamada is not going anywhere till at least the end of 2022, maybe the beginning of 2023, and that's if Flashpoint flops. And this is the way I see things right now. But all these people inside of the franchise and inside of DC and Warner Media and Warner Bros. Pictures are doing, they're just They're dragging us from one end to the other, and these war of words simply, my friends, has to stop. Now for some positive news, because yesterday, which was Thursday, even though you're watching this on a Sunday, I know, it's so confusing, isn't it? We had this brilliant hashtag Henry Cavill Superman event, and even Zack Snyder got involved. It was brilliant. And to finish off that event, we actually had a watch party, a Man of Steel watch party. So I think we had about 50,000 trends. It was massive. It was really successful. Great that Zack got involved as well. And so, as I say, there's a real fight now to get a Superman movie. But fuck this shit. And by the way, I want to thank all the organisers for that hashtag event. It's brilliant and it's needed and it raises the spirits of all Superman fans. But fuck this shit. As I said to Jason Keeler on a tweet, we should not have to be begging for a Superman movie. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. This is the most recognisable symbol next to the Christian cross. Why can't we get a movie? Ever since Justice League 2017, they have rested this character, apart from a shit, dumb cameo from a body double dressed as Superman at the end of Shazam. This is where we are. This is where Warner Brothers Pictures are as a group of people. Where is our Superman movie? Where is our Superman project? I spoke the other day on here how awesome it would be to have a Codex story. How awesome it would be for Brainiac to extract the Codex from Kal-El. And what would the consequences of that be? Because, you know, basically, a Brainiac could really use that Codex, seeing that it's full of millions of Kryptonian cells. Kryptonians would have great powers on Earth. It would be an invasion of mass proportions. It would be an excellent movie. And Zack Snyder's the one to direct that movie. And why aren't we getting any Superman content? We're getting Superman and Lois, and that's great. But what about these movies? What's going on to our hero? Why are they refusing to do something here? Now, as far as you and I know, they're talking deep in conversation with J.J. Abrams, which is great. But we need to know what's going on. The next Superman movie is so important. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman or not. It doesn't matter if you're a Zack Snyder fan or not. It doesn't matter what's happened. You've got those versions now. You can't keep on demanding that every version of Superman is the same as what's gone before. You can't keep on demanding that every version of Superman should be like Superman the movie or Man of Steel or BVS, anything. The next Superman movie is so vital that it appeals to everyone. DC hardcores. Everyone who loves this character, right, has a right to enjoy the next Superman movie. But the next Superman movie must be like an operatic symphony that you will, every time you listen to, it makes you want to be a better person. It makes you cry. It makes you laugh. It makes you feel happy. It's got to be the most perfect classic thing of all time. Because in the next Superman live-action movie, Superman must be put back on the map. There's no question about this. And this is why I'm saying, I don't want another Superman movie. I don't want another Man of Steel. I don't want another BVS. They're there. And they can continue with Henry over on HBO Max. But now we're going to have a brand new Superman. Probably written and directed by J.J. Abrams. And for the J.J. Abrams haters, I've been a follower of J.J.'s career before you lot knew his name. Anyone who creates, writes and directs Alias is a genius. This is a guy who created a show with a strong female lead before it was fashionable to have strong female leads. Sydney Bristow, played by Jennifer Garner, was the most amazing, rounded, grounded character. She had friends, she had enemies, not just male enemies, but female enemies. Men weren't just bad in this. There was bad women, good men. There was a variety because JJ didn't put her out or didn't conceive her as a woman. He conceived her as a person with feelings. She's probably one of the few successful female leads in film or in TV in the history of storytelling. So J.J. Abrams is a genius. Then he co-created Lost, another piece of genius. The concept of the island having a life of its own was all J.J.'s. So you can have a go at him about Star Trek Into Darkness or the sequel trilogy over at Star Wars, but there were other entities to blame there as well. I actually like Into Darkness as a film. I just don't think it's a Star Trek film. That's the problem with that one. So I believe this is a big opportunity. It's interesting, actually, because J.J. Abrams is in a place of his career now where behind the scenes he's developing Justice League Dark for HBO Max. He's doing things that are not garnering him attention. But if he does this Superman film, he's going to be back in the spotlight. And this is a place. He's in the same position as Superman is in terms of movies right now. Both JJ needs to get this right for his career and his legacy. And he needs to get Superman right for Superman's legacy and future. So both entities here really need this to work. So I'm guessing this is why they're sitting down and taking it slow, making sure they get this one right. And they have to. Because Superman is such an important character. Not just to me and you, but he's important. He matters. And in the world we live in today, he can absolutely give us hope. But not hope in the way Diana gives us in Wonder Woman 84 when we were hearing critics and everyone saying, the right movie for such a terrible year. I don't necessarily believe that, right? Because, yes, Wonder Woman 84 was a very hopeful movie in the end, and it did promote a good message. But a movie always needs to be more than promoting hope and a good message. It needs to engross the audience. Wonder Woman 84 isn't a classic movie. It isn't a classic symphony you want to hear again and again. Like I was just explaining, the next Superman live-action movie must be. It wasn't. Wonder Woman 2017 is that classic symphony you want to hear again and again and again. And every time you hear it, you discover something new about it. As a kid watching Star Wars A New Hope or Superman the movie, that's what those films were to me. A classic symphony I wanted to hear again and again and again. And that's what the next Superman live-action movie must be. It mustn't be a Wonder Woman 84. It mustn't even be a Shazam. It's got to be the best comic book movie ever made. And it has to be original and it has to have original takes. But it does have to look at the comics. It does have to look at the costume. I do believe Action Comics #1 is important to this movie, having that costume, at least in a flashback. It's never been worn in live action. That would be massive for the fans. So there must be a fan service. But fan service should never be the #1 goal of a movie. It should be a good story with great character development. And these days, there should be no issues with visual effects. Now, there are some issues with visual effects on Wonder Woman 84, and I don't understand why. What I do, it proves that Patty Jenkins isn't proficient enough in executing them, or her team that she had. She got rid of all of Snyder's VFX team. The best VFX team, apart from at ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, Snyder's VFX team are the best. Why would you get rid of them? Ridiculous. Crazy. So when she came out the other day and said, I don't want to hear terms like war, well, you're going to war, Patty, for no reason. And you really dug yourself a hole with Wonder Woman 84, which isn't the most terrible movie ever. It's just not a classic movie. I don't know. Someone was saying, a Marvel fan was saying the Themyscira sequence was terrible and looked terrible. I think it's a beautiful sequence. And in fact, I think she got that sequence dead on. And I think it looked great personally. But people do like to nitpick, and that's up to them. But this is not about Patty Jenkins, because before, after Wonder Woman 2017, we were saying, well, maybe she could do a Superman movie. Look what she's done here. Before we realised that she wasn't in that movie alone. She didn't execute that movie alone. And that's why it's a better movie than Wonder Woman 1984. So a Superman movie is everything we want. I want to see an MOS sequel. I know, man. And Liz Wonder, a great cosplayer, was coming out and saying, we need to complete the Justice League saga before a Man of Steel movie because Batman vs. Superman is already a sequel. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Liz. But at the end of the day, there's a story to tell. We haven't finished Clark's story, and we want to see more Superman. We don't want to see Superman being benched for another 5-6 years. Henry Cavill will be too old to play him then. This is ridiculous. You've got people like Campion already saying that he's too old now, which I think is ridiculous, by the way. So we need Cavill over at HBO Max with Zack. We need JJ to cast his Superman and think very carefully about what he's going to do here. I've always offered my services as someone that's passionate about Superman. Now, I don't know everything about the comics, but I know who Superman is, and that's why I love him. That's why he's an inspiration. That's why he stopped me from killing myself as a child. And that was Christopher Reeve's version, by the way. You know, he gave me hope, but more than hope. He's a hero. And he doesn't do it because he has to. He doesn't do it because somebody killed his parents or anything like that. He does it because he was brought up in the right way. But no one told him to do this. Although they did tell him to do this, he does it because he wants to. He is a good guy. And that's what's important about Superman. So the next version of Superman can't be this, oh, let's do something edgy. That's been done with Man of Steel. You've done it. Congratulations. It's a great movie. I love it, personally. But now's the time to give the audience, the consumer, the world, the Superman we need right now. In a bright blue suit, looking like Superman, acting like Superman, but it doesn't have to be a sitcom. It could be a brilliant, epic, compelling movie, but it can also have gags in it. There can be a balance. Unfortunately, with fandoms these days, it's one thing or the other. Everything's black and white to these people, and that's disappointing. But the next Superman live-action movie is so important, and we must have it, but it mustn't be rushed. So I do trust J.J. Abrams to do this, and I'd be more than happy to consult with him. Never going to happen, by the way, but I'd be very proud to be involved in the next Superman live-action movie because we need him. And for him to be benched for the past 4 years is absolutely despicable. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.